Hey, what's good, everybody? Brotha here with you again. And in today's video, this is going to be a little different. This is usually the part where I say, here to help you save or make money, mostly make money. But in this video, I'm going to just talk about something that's on my mind. It's a little bit different from what I would normally do. I want to talk about the transition from W-2 employee to being an entrepreneur and how you resign from your job. So first off, I've been kind of in this entrepreneur, self-employment kind of space for more than a decade now, and it was not a tough decision for me because my journey started because at the time it was just a lot of corporate restructuring going on. I found myself in layoffs several times. I want to say 3 times in 4 years, and that was enough for me to say, okay, I'm not going to roll the dice on these jobs anymore. I'll roll the dice on myself. So it was easy for me. But for you, I don't know what the consequences are that are driving your choice. So just a few things for you to consider. First, if you're looking to go from being a traditional W-2 employee to starting your own business or becoming some type of independent contractor, here's a few things to consider. You won't get a paycheck every 2 weeks necessarily, or every week, or in whatever time intervals you were getting paid before. Maybe your business will take off right away, and maybe it'll take a little while. But I recommend having 4 to 6 months of cash reserves on hand before you make the leap. You need to have some money on hand, plain and simple. Something else I'd like to talk about is do research, and I mean deep research into whatever you're going to get into. Don't just jump into it blind with enthusiasm, and then when it gets hard after the first few days, you're ready to, give up. Do some really, really deep research so you'll know exactly what it is about the industry or line of business that you're going into. The last thing I want to talk about is how you leave your job. And I think a lot of people are leaving jobs because due to the pandemic, a lot of people got to work remotely, and some folks are being asked to come back into the office now. And for the first time in very many people's work lives, they've gotten a glimpse of what a healthy work-life balance looks like. Because that's what kept me from going back into the traditional workforce. Was it's not that you don't work as an entrepreneur or a self-employed person. Arguably you work harder. Arguably you may work more hours, but it's the way you're able to balance your life is where a lot of the value comes in. Some of the important things to you, whether it's coming to your children's events or special occasions with your spouse, parents, siblings, meeting with friends, whatever the case may be, you're able to get a little bit more flexibility. It doesn't mean that you still won't have deadlines to meet. It doesn't mean that you still don't have to do a great job at whatever you do to still make money. But your work-life balance is just that. It has more balance than it does when you're going to a job where it might be very demanding and they are giving you work to take home, and you got the cell phone from the job and the laptop, and they got ways to contact you 24 hours a day, and that can really get old quickly. So I understand why people get in love with the work-life balance, because it truly is a beautiful thing. But when you're leaving your job, you still have to resign. And I recommend writing a nice professional resignation letter. Be thankful for the opportunity that you were given. Speak about the level of hard work and professionalism that you showed while working at the job that you were working at, and how you always represented the company in the most positive manner that you could. Now, let's talk about the length of notice that you give. Specifically, this 2 weeks thing. And some people are going to disagree with me on this, but this is just my opinion. When you get laid off or fired or let go, whatever term you want to use, most times jobs don't give you any notice. They don't give you 2 weeks. They don't give you a week. They don't give you a day. Sometimes you find out at the end of the workday, they make sure that you got that last email sent, that last report done, and then they tell you at 5 p.m. when it's time for you to leave, hey, Jones, Smith, whatever your name is, come on in the office. I need to speak to you for a moment. You go in there, and it's your supervisor, and they have one other person at least in there to serve as a witness. And the next thing you know, you're fired. A security guard is meeting you at your desk, and you're being walked out the door without, being able to say goodbye to your colleagues that you may have had close relationships with, or whatever the case may be. It's kind of, it's the punch that you didn't see coming, and that's the punch that usually knocks people down. It's the one that they didn't see coming. So for me, I don't recommend giving a 2 weeks notice. If you have an awesome opportunity standing in front of you right now, and they say we need you in 3 days, you need to write that good professional resignation letter. And you can be very vague with your reason for leaving. Some things have happened personally in my life to where I have to make a move in a different direction. I really appreciate the opportunity that you've given me here to work for this company. I always tried to represent the company in the best manner that I could, but at this time, I have to terminate my employment with said employer. And then you walk out the door. That's a professional resignation letter, and in most cases, that's the kind of notice that you're given when you are fired or laid off. And they may be nice about it and say, it's nothing against you, but the company is going in a different direction. It's never specific, and you don't have to be specific either. So those are just some things that I thought I should share with you when it comes to leaving your job. And you're going to go into from the quote-unquote security of a steady paycheck to the entrepreneur space where the sky's the limit as far as how much you can make in most lines of work. But you could also make something so far down that you didn't know you could go that low. So you just have to be prepared. So make sure you got cash reserves on hand. That's number one. Number two, research, and I mean research diligently. Do all your due diligence on the field or industry that you're going to go into work into, that you're going to transition into as an entrepreneur. And last but not least, leave your job in a professional manner, because at some point you may have to get another job, and you want to have left in a professional manner. As far as the notice goes, that's debatable. If you want to give 2 weeks notice, or even 1 week's notice, or even longer, feel free to do so. In my case, I don't think that giving all that notice is necessarily part of being professional about it, because life throws you curveballs sometimes. Sometimes you have to swing the bat quickly to hit the curveball. You can't sit there and wait for a couple weeks to swing the bat. So sometimes life dictates you having to make a move fast as opposed to making a move slow. So I'll let you decide how much notice you're going to give, but just make sure it's a professional letter. So that's all I have for today. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share if you found any value in this content. I would greatly appreciate it. And it does not matter on your hike to the peak of your mountain if you take the stairs or the elevator, as long as you get there. And on that note, see you guys in the next video.